That could either be an asteroid in the Windows 98 version of asteroids, or it could be a screen capture from a 2021 AAA game. You decide. Oh boy. How's it going? I still have tires in the background, by the way. Those are for the Corvette. And in order to have the tires on the Corvette, it should probably run for more than like a week at a time. So today I wanted to talk about a couple things that I'm having a problem with in Forza Horizon 5. Now, I don't know if these are problems that other people are having. Maybe I'm the only one, but all I know is that playing it pre-release, today is November 7th. I've been playing it for the past couple days since it came out on Steam. I've just noticed a few things that, if permanent, are going to drive me nuts. This is actually off-roading 101. This is how you're supposed to do it. What happened? I stopped. I stopped dead. Now, before we get too far into this, I just want to make sure you know that I'm on a laptop playing on Steam. These problems may not be reflected on PlayStation or Xbox. Also, my internet is a gig a second. And because I can stream and play at the same time, I don't think my internet is to blame for any of what you're about to see. Yeah, that ain't quite right. First problem, car reset is not working correctly. Now, obviously, they improved immensely what happens when you flip a car over on its roof back in Forza Horizon 4. It used to be that if you were on your roof for 0.1 of a second, you would get reset, sent 10 miles back in the race, and your race was over. Now, it gives you a chance to get back on your wheels. But the problem is, it actually still doesn't. It just gives you a longer amount of time than it used to. If it were working correctly, I shouldn't be able to do this. It should have just let me get back on the road like nothing happened. Same with this situation right here. If my car is headed for getting back on the wheels, you should let me drive away. It doesn't matter how long it takes for me to get there. I was on the wheels. But that's not actually the worst part about this point. I was driving around the map exploring. I hit a massive jump, which, to be fair, was freaking sweet. This game looks awesome, and it looks even better from the air. I landed in a village, in some dude's backyard, presumably, and I was stuck there. I couldn't get out. There was no door, there was no gate. I'm stuck. The first thing I tried to do was reset my car. And guess what? It reset me in the exact same spot that I was already in. Really? Now you might be saying, well, just leave the game. Well, the problem was I was queued for a race. I couldn't leave, otherwise I would give up my queue position and I would start waiting all over again. Just gonna hang out with these fine people here. How's the weather? And other small talk to tell in the dark. And that leads me to number 2. Multiplayer races are taking forever to load. It took me like 15 minutes to get in a race the other night, and the only thing it ever said on the top of the screen was players getting rewards. You could at least give me more than that. And to add to that, it's inconsistent. Like sometimes it'll take 30 seconds for them to get rewards, other times I can walk away and go do something else for 15 minutes. It's just not consistent. And that whole time you can't change your car, you can't modify your car, you can't do any graphics, you can't do pretty much anything at all while you're waiting for that race to queue. You're just stuck sitting there. I can't even go take a pee. How do I pee? How do I pee, Playground Games? Is pee stored in the balls? Now, I asked a YouTuber about this and other problems I was having, and his response was basically, well, it's pre-release, not a lot of people are playing the game. Honestly, no offense, but that is completely false. There is no way that there are only 7 other people racing out of all the people who have the game. And the same extends for Forzathon Live. I went into 2 different Forzathon Lives, and both of them I was the only person there. Now, I'm not exactly sure how they work with that, whether they put you in an instance or they put you in a server with other people, but there is no way on earth that the night the game launched, I was the only person on the planet doing a Forzathon. There's absolutely no way. And that leads me directly to Numero Trace, which is my biggest problem of them all. Open world multiplayer is completely f***ed. Now, I will say on all of them, it could just be me having this problem. That's kind of why I wanted to make this video. Is this happening to other people? But this one especially, because if this is happening to other people, why would you play the game? Back in Horizon 4, okay, there was something called a server. We're all familiar with what a server is. You get in, there are other people playing. You can go hang out together. That's really not, a crazy concept. They've decided to do away with that in favor of like this mixed live instance sort of thing. If you play World of Warcraft or other like instanced games, you will understand this. But basically, if you get close to other people, from my understanding, the idea is that you're supposed to then be grouped up with them. They're going to be on your screen, you're going to be able to run around with them together. But the problem is that doesn't work. There are 2 major reasons why this doesn't work. Well, actually, I guess there are 3. There are 3 major reasons why this doesn't work. Number 1, back to the Horizon-thon. Forza Horizon-thon. In another Forza-thon, I actually did get in with somebody. The problem was they appeared halfway through the first round, and they disappeared a couple minutes later. They just vanished into thin air. I watched their car vaporize into nothing. Number two, I tried following a guy around the map to drift. You know, I saw this guy drifting and I was like, I'm going to follow him and let's do some sweet drifts, bro. And he disappeared in 3 turns. He just vanished off the face of the map. Some of my favorite memories in Horizon 4 were just finding a random person, like drifting or going around doing whatever. You join up with them, eventually you convoy together, and then suddenly you're getting married a couple years later. No, that's not. But if this is how it is, if people disappear when you get too far away from them, you can't do that anymore. So if you don't put someone in your convoy within 10 seconds of seeing them, you're never going to see them again. Turn 10, you have no idea what you're squandering here. No wedding bells, no forever after. But the number one problem I have with this is that in Forza Horizon 4, you could pull up the map. And you could say, oh, look, there's everybody else in the server. They're over there doing the big roundabout at the top of the highway. They're doing drifts in a circle. I'm going to go get in on that shit. You can't do that anymore. Nobody is on the map at any point in time. You pull up the map, there are no icons anywhere for other drivers. You have no clue where anybody is. And again, this could be me, and I hope it's just me. I hope it's for some reason like my client is messed up, or my internet's not doing the right thing, or I was on when literally everyone else in the country was asleep. I hope there's some good reason for it, because if it's actually this way, that would mean they took one of the core components of an online multiplayer game, being online with other players, and tossed it out the window. Number 4. Racing seems a bit broken to me. Ghosts in racing and wall riding penalties. Now, I think I speak for everybody when I say that wall riding penalties were one of the best things to come out of the late game of Forza Horizon 4. The fact that they did something to combat the fact that people just ride every wall in town and win races by 72 miles is great. I think we can all get behind that. That and ghosting people at the beginning of the race for 30 seconds, fantastic. I'm all for all of that. But I ran into 2 different problems with this when I was playing my first Goliath race. Actually, my first race ever online in Forza Horizon 5. You will see that I am solidly in 4th place. I've got a pretty good gap behind me. There's no one else around. But if you look at the minimap, only 2 people are ahead of me. That should mean that I'm in 3rd, if I remember how to count right. Not only did it take several seconds for the game to register that I had indeed earned 4th place when I passed the 4th place person, but at an arbitrary point in time in the race, I suddenly went from 3rd to 2nd, with absolutely no car or another driver anywhere in sight. Now, again, I will say, the race was great. The physics feel a lot better. The car was familiar enough that I could just get in, and in my first race, I was able to compete. That is cool. I like that they kept the game true to its roots in that regard. But this does not bode well. Where was that other car? Was there another guy there that I couldn't see? Was there another guy racing that was just driving through me the whole time and ghosting, getting a free pass? What happened in this situation? Are we going to have another repeat of those false first place finishes from Forza Horizon 4 where you're right up on somebody's butt and you guys go in like this and suddenly this guy gets first place? And the second issue I had within number 4, I know it's like number 4 sub 0.2, 0.73, but like, I know I'm getting nitpicky here, but like, I don't need a 5-second penalty for hitting a wall. If I wall ride, I think that's fine. But if I accidentally graze a wall with the back of my car because I drifted a little too wide, because I took a turn a little too wide by accident, I should not be stuck with a 5-second penalty, because even in a race as long as the Goliath, which is much time to make up as the Goliath, it's almost impossible to make up 5 seconds on a really good player. Especially in a 3-lap race that only lasts a couple minutes, 5 seconds is basically a death knell. You might as well just put the controller down. Maybe you should get good. Yeah, I know. I should. I really should. The rest of these are kind of going to be rapid fire. Number 5, getting pretty nitpicky here, but when I hit a tree and I'm going 150 miles an hour, do I downshift once to get back to first gear, or do I downshift 5 times to get back to first gear? Because it seems like 9 out of the 10 trees that I hit, I downshift once and I'm back into first gear. But on that 10th tree, there's this major holdup because I click down once and suddenly I'm in 5th. Like, where's the cutoff between having to downshift all the way manually and having it do it for you? Much love to Super GT. Number 6, the graphics. You've seen this on Reddit. You've seen other people talk about it. Some of the graphics are just subpar. If you have your graphic quality set to anything higher than Super Nintendo, you should never see this. And I don't know, I've never been to Mexico. Maybe it looks like that. Maybe they have like Mount Pixel and all you see is like one shader all the way down the mountain. That would be pretty cool, but I don't think it exists. That could either be an asteroid in the Windows 98 version of Asteroids, or it could be a screen capture from a 2021 AAA game. You decide. Also, can we just talk about the sheer number of issues listed by the support team on the official website? These are all the issues on every platform. Then we have Xbox, then we have Windows, then we have Steam, then we have Wheel. Call me old school, but back in my day, you used to get a game that worked when it came out. Now, you don't. Now, I get little things like, oh, you use certain software, to input and it crashes. That's one thing. Porsche 918 Spider, main body of the air wing remains inactive when the car is speeding up. It takes 2 seconds to notice that when you drive the car. Convertible feature does not work in free roam. It takes 3 seconds to figure that out. No in-game audio after resume. How did anyone test this game before it came out and not notice that? Purchasing the treasure map will restore all barn finds instead of just revealing their location. You're telling me nobody noticed that during testing. These are the things that I've noticed so far playing Forza Horizon 5 for a couple days. It's all fun and games, right? It's a game. It's meant to be fun, but these are things that some of them are just walking backwards from how the game was in Horizon 4, like the social aspect. And there have been other things, but they kind of weren't worth mentioning. There's a couple times I've gotten high centered on a rock and not been able to get off the rock, and it's like been a pirouette on the rock, and the fact that this happened more than once is weird. But really, I just don't want to not have the ability to make new friends in the game. That's sort of what the game is all about. Getting people together, playing together, watching people do the Forzathon lives together. If we don't have that, what's the point of the game? Anyway, that's about all I've got. Tell me if these things are happening to you. Tell me if you're having other issues. And let's all get together and hope that all of these things are fixed when the game fully rolls out next week. Until then, take care. Have an awesome weekend. See you next time. Goodbye.